Okay. Final Fantasy IX is my favorite game of all time. It is magnificent. I love it to bits. And it still has problems. But it has minor problems. See, very flawed games will have major flaws. But some of the best games of all time might have a slew of tiny, tiny problems. And when, well, an opportunity such as a remake comes along, I think that the potential for Final Fantasy IX Remake is really good. Apparently, all the leaks have been correct so far, so we're probably going to get this remake, and it's going to remain turn-based ATB, but presumably it's going to look somewhat like the Memoria project. If you haven't looked that up, just YouTube Memoria project. It is phenomenal. And it actually fixes some things, which I'm going to mention. But, wow. Woo! Final Fantasy IX, what an amazing game. The battle system, the turn-based ATB is much better than some people give it credit for. Being able to basically have people on standby and custom order your abilities and do specific combos between enemies' real-time actions is just, it's so good. Being able to specifically order things however which way you like. Some people say that like 10 system has more creativity or freedom awarded to the player. It does not. Even if you swap fresh characters in, you're still stuck in the same order of whatever agility that you might have. So a new character's different agility might change the turn order a little bit, but you don't have the custom nature that you are then allowed to explore if it was turn-based ATB. So I think number one, the party switching thing in 10 is really cool. And if we were to be able to have that with turn-based ATB, it would be the ultimate freedom. And I think that would be phenomenal. So number one, let us do that, please. Number two, make trance optional, just like how Limit Break is with Final Fantasy VII. Simple as that. Sometimes you get trance and it's super unfortunate, and I don't know why we went backwards with that. That is just really annoying, and it shouldn't happen. Number three, increase the steal rate on some of the very difficult steals, or you can just all around make Bandit / Master Thief, or maybe the combination of such, much better than it already is. Stealing is very good, especially on bosses, but I feel like maybe we should take a page out of the past Final Fantasy's book. Like, sometimes thinking like 4 through 7. And maybe we'll be able to steal good shit from enemies now. Maybe it'll be new enemies and we'll be able to steal new stuff from them. Now, what abilities would they have? I think adding in certain passives to counter some of the uncounterable abilities that we have right now, like Virus, like Mini in particular, things that you just have to use a remedy for, when everything else you can grind out an ability and just equip that, taking some resources of your ability crystals. That would be fantastic. That would be a great addition, and I think everybody would like that. I also think additional weapons that would make more advantage of certain elements would be fantastic. So on this playthrough, I've gotten an extension from the Chocobo Hot and Cold, and Freya can equip that, but she doesn't have a lightning weapon ever that can actually take advantage of the lightning damage boost from the extension. And you can extend this on and on and on with different other characters with their abilities. It is rare that we have this situation where we're able to take advantage of every unique attribute of gear in terms of damage boosting. In terms of damage reduction, in terms of healing, yes, that's all there and that's all phenomenal. I love that. That's a great time. All of the secondary benefits and additional stuff regarding gear, oh my god, the gear system is amazing. The gear acquisition is amazing, with some minor cracks around the steal rate. But, man, oh man. Speaking of which, with the extension in the Chocobo Hot and Cold, I think this, the add-on dig rate should be lowered. Because right now it's 1 out of 1,024 chance to get stuff like your extension, Katyusha, Anklet, Barrette. These things are actually really cool. And I think even if it was just cut in half, it would still be something that you would look forward to, that you would have a great time digging up, and say, oh my god, I got this really good thing. And you wouldn't drive people absolutely nutty in the attempt of getting that stuff. Right now, I can totally understand that like there are certain things that are so far away in terms of Chocobo Hot and Cold, or in terms of Kina with Swamp Frog Gathering, that it's fine totally just letting it go and keeping on, adventuring and continuing the plot and whatnot. But I got an extension, and then I got another extension, so I would definitely make it so that once you get one add-on, you can't get another one of the same type. That would be much better. And then lower the rate of, lower the randomness on getting that. 1 out of 512 is fine. That's fine. That still seems a little ridiculous, but still, it's, it'd be better. It'd be much better. Next thing, I would have buff jump. Freya's jump doesn't have the damage modifiers from abilities on it, and I would just add them to jump. It wouldn't make it terribly OP, it would just be an additional function. Right now, it's like you have 2 modifiers for wherever they come from, and you're already out damaging jump by 50%, and you don't have to wait, and Freya can just do other stuff on the ground, like tank a hit, or act in whatever way, use dragon ability, use an item, or, any of these sorts of things. That would be much better than just jumping as it is currently. Actually giving us a good incentive to jump would be fantastic. There's Zidane's ability called Annoy. I think that should be an increased enemy flipped duration. That would be much better. And then some of his later dines should have secondary effects, because right now Thievery is just so much more powerful and so much more mana cost effective than all of your later dines that are going to deal 9999 anyway. It's like they should do something else. Either buff the party or debuff the enemy in some way. There should be some additional thing going on to make them really feel like an impactful trance ability, some sort of limit break thing. I also think that Steiner's trance, I feel like that should affect his magic sword ability as well. Right now what Steiner's trance does is increases his damage output by 3 times, but for physical attacks only. And that's phenomenal. It's like the physical modifier being boosted that much. That's really good. I don't believe it affects his sword arts, which is strange, but I feel like it should affect magic sword. I feel like it should affect sword art. That would be amazing. That would be phenomenal. Maybe you could also make Vivi's trance affect Steiner's magic sword as well. That would be fantastic. Freya, going back to Freya, she should have a scripted trance sometime. I don't know when, but I feel like other characters need this scripted trance amazing moment. Also, Freya isn't at all present in Memoria. Even though she is the character that's supposed to be about like memories and being forgotten and stuff, she doesn't have like a scene. Like, she doesn't at least be like, oh my god, I would love to bring Fratley here. Maybe he could like remember me and everything, or something like that. Like anything with her being tragic and it's like boohoo. That's phenomenal, and it would be implemented a lot better in Memoria. I feel like Memoria would be so much better for it. It already is phenomenal. I love the OST, I love the ambiance, the boss fights, almost everything about it, except it's just lacking that one little bit. Allow Zidane out of the primary party for combat much earlier in the game. As soon as we have access to more than 4 party members, again, we should have this custom swapping in and out, no problem. Party members that aren't present in the active party are still there for cutscenes, so I don't see the problem with letting Zidane in and out of the party as you wish. It just adds more tactical essence, it adds more customizability, more freedom. It's just fantastic. I would love that. For saving, because there are so many instances where it's like, oh, a party member just leaves out of randoms. Keen, I'm looking at you. Or a party member, we swap over to other characters, like, at a certain point, like, towards the end of the disc, or what have you. We should have a save system that works like God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok, where there's an autosave and manual save. So you can reload the autosave and then make manual saves from there, or you can make manual saves from wherever. It would be the Moogles in this game. So that would be fantastic. That would help people out with a lot of quality of life. It would help a lot for getting good steals. Let's say like you're trying to get a good steal, but the boss has a bunch of cutscene in front of it. That would help people out a lot then. It would be just fantastic quality of life addition. Stat, I think the spirit stat, either some of its benefits have to be spread around to other stats, or the game should clearly communicate how good spirit is. Because right now, spirit is by far and away the best stat. It does so many things and it's used for so many damage formulas that it is just by far and away the thing that you really want to max out. Now, stat maxing right now, I feel like there should be a mode in Final Fantasy IX Remake where stat maxing is kind of done automatically. And by stat maxing, I don't mean getting to 99 in everything. You can't really get 99 in everything in this game. But I do mean getting to the maximum potential by leveling up characters as much as you can with the best gear that boosts stats for whatever certain stats. Mainly spirit, and then magic for the casters, and then strength to have some HP. You want a good balance of all that. But speed kind of takes a back seat because you have the auto haste ability, and sometimes HP does too because of auto regen. And so you have people with like a lot of MP and a shit ton of spirit. And I feel like if we were going to shift this around and just kind of reduce all the start and stop with switching gear around. Oh, this person needs this gear because we're about to level up, and then you're going to get these stat fragments that will eventually become whole stats and yada yada. I feel like there should be a setting where, normal setting, you can just take advantage of all of this tactical start and stop swapping gear nature. Some people might actually enjoy that. I don't. But there's got to be a setting in which that just progresses naturally and you get all those benefits, and you can just focus on the actual secondary benefits of gear, like what stats do they have, like what primary, secondary stats in terms of combat, what abilities do they teach you, okay, like what benefits in terms of elemental sense do they give you, like this sort of thing. This should all be taken into account much more than just, oh, well, this character needs, like, these fractions of stats, and so it's just like, well, you can already go through the game and demolish it with limited stat maxing. It's just being able to do that and get a limited benefit, it's kind of painful, and it doesn't feel like it's terribly worth it. It's just annoying. I've done it. I've done level 1 playthrough, I've done level 1 speedrun, I've done all this stuff way back in the day, and it's fine. It's fun in the moment, but a lot of people are going to be looking to do that, and the reward just isn't there currently, and the process of doing it is quite painful. So definitely have an option where the progression of stats normally just functions like stat max characters, and then we won't have to do like low level runs or relatively low level runs, just stat max a little bit. This sort of weird personal framework so that we can have, so that we have a good time. I would also, in certain circumstances, certain areas, give a certain checklist of X out of X hidden items gained or X out of X missables found per zone or per disc. I wouldn't want it to tell you exactly what it is until you've gotten it. So it should be unknown until you get it. Because there are a ton of really cool missables that you have in Final Fantasy IX that have enormous impact on the game because of the quality of the gear and the quality of the gear system. And because of that, I would absolutely have a checklist so that people can look around and see certain things and make good saves and really understand the depth that this game has to offer. It would be amazing. In addition to that, I would love to have certain hidden items much more visible, as in like just modeled tiny on the map. Kind of like how Final Fantasy VII did with Materia, where it's like, oh, look at that! Purple orb glinting on the ground. That's amazing. Like, how do I get to that? That's amazing. Like, stuff like that. That would be phenomenal. And yeah, we have that sometimes with treasure chests, and that's great. But having modeled gear on the ground glinting, that would be fantastic. There will still be that wonderful, like, oh, you get to a certain point, it's like exclamation points. Like, oh, what's that? Because there's still stuff that's going to be obscured by the art. that you're just going to go around and say, oh, what is that? I want that. And we'll still have that natural exclamation point, but being able to see gear and be like, oh, how do I get that? That's just a fantastic feeling. I would also include a way to see and ideally fight Ozma in its original form. I want to see what Ozma originally looked like. That's always been a really cool mystery to me. I hope people agree, but because I really want to see what Ozma looked like. Ozma is a beast, and wow, I just want to see, like, what could Ozma have looked like? Phenomenal. Like, that's such a cool idea. Let's see. I think, let's see. Maybe we should have heard more about Necron earlier in the game. Maybe. I think that would be cool. He exists as a really interesting potential foil to the Black Mages, and then also to later the Genomes. So I think this would be something interesting that maybe Garland like discounts. It's like, no, it's not, no, you know, that's just a fairy tale. And then it's like, uh-oh, it's not a fairy tale. This is real. There could also be some sort of ancient book that warns of his presence that maybe Dr. Tot knows about, because he's all, you know, book heavy. Maybe the Necronomicon, it could be what it's called. Who knows? And I think just being able to have these existential points added on in the middle of the game or towards the end with Disc 3 and 4. I love Disc 3, by the way. Oh my god. But all this stuff added on would just provide additional really cool opportunities for characterization. And I think that would be just fantastic. Not only do we have more of a presence for our main villain towards the end of the game, but we also have bonus characterization as we see how characters and more of these scholar-type characters interact with this realization that there is some sort of death apparatus going on. I also like the idea of the moral question of a singular being in control of that. Like, shouldn't it, shouldn't it just be nature doing its thing, like we believed for all this time? This sort of idea. I think that there should be a post game. If you go out and kill Necron and you're done with Disc 4, I think there should be a way to reload the game and go kill Ozma or Hades, whatever you want. Optional stuff that they've added on, maybe, with a new super boss, or potentially some sort of a boss gauntlet in the Eva tree. That would be cool. Some sort of super boss there. That would be fantastic. Now, last little point, if there's going to be potentially a new party member, I don't know if anybody wants there to be new party members or anything. I doubt it. Just make it good. Save new party members maybe for Final Fantasy IX, the after years. How 4 got the after years and 6 and 9 and 7 didn't get the after years, I don't understand. I guess 7 got its anthology, but 6 and 9 not getting some sort of a sequel is absolutely ludicrous to me. So if 9 does get some sort of sequel, I really want to have Lonnie be a playable character. I think her kit is very interesting. Her sort of arc being kind of a cool person now would be super neat as well. I think maybe a more an older Eiko would be super cool too. It doesn't have to be this game again. It could be some sort of sequel. It's just a side note at the end. Maybe one of the VVs is different. Who knows? There's a lot of potential. Puck. I don't remember if. I assume Puck survives the Clara incident. Let me Google this. He had to, right? There's no way. Yes. Yeah, he does. Yeah, because he's in the end cutscene when Puck's like, oh, Vivi, what's up? And then there's 6 of them. It's what the fuck? Yeah, so Puck, an older Puck, that would be cool. I think the idea of having Mene and Chocobo, or at least Mene being a Dragoon as a callback to Final Fantasy VI's Mog, that would be sick. You could have Puck be some sort of a thief-like character, and then maybe inspired by Zidane, and also would fit his character. And then, like, man, it would be like the Dragoon. We know that, I forget his name, but in the Gizmalik's Grotto, the one that's Koopa for Koopa Nuts, he has some serious strength to him. So it's possible for Moogles to be absolute powerhouses, and I would absolutely love to see some sort of a Moogle Dragoon again. That would be so classic, with the Final Fantasy IX sound effects and the animations, and potentially upscaled and modernized. Oh my god, it would be so cool. I just want it to still remain as beautiful and stylized as this one is. Modernize the lighting, modernize all the systems behind the scenes, but it doesn't have to look like real life fancy schmancy stuff that's going to put you in the uncanny valley in 2 years, okay? Photorealistic current technology gets outdated fast, and it looks bad fast. But this stylized stuff lives on forever. So keep the style going. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys some other time. Bye!